here by the echo of my voice. I'm not in my office. Yeah, I'm not in my office. I'm actually standing under an awning here on the south side, to be more specific, on Highland Avenue, waiting to get to Second and Charles, which is the closest location would be in Hoover, at least for me anyway. Considering my current location, I think the closest one to me, if we were talking about my house, would be Garden. But either way, it's a special edition of our review. So don't. I figured I'd do an episode outside the house. So this is actually the first episode of my reviews that I've actually done outside my house. And to me, I think it's a bit of a refresher for that. I've done a couple of episodes outside the house during season one, and with me being 5 episodes in and not had not had a single episode at another location outside my office, I figured it was time for a change. I needed to change that. So while I sit here and wait for the bus heading towards the Galleria area, that would be the Highway 31 South bus. I'm surprised they don't have one going north. But then again, that's the public transit system for you. Speaking of public transit, I'm quite surprised that Birmingham doesn't have not exactly the same kind of public transit system that Atlanta has, but something along that line. And to be honest with you, if in the event that, well, actually, there is no in the event of, it's going to happen anyway. But when I return to Atlanta, should I have to take, should I have to take the MARTA to get to the hotel we'll be going to this time around? If I can get there by train, I'm going to take the train because simply the train's freaking old. Yeah, could have gotten my ass kicked. I could have gotten my ass whooped. I could have kicked some ass. I could have whooped some ass. A lot of shit could have happened on that train, but it did not because everybody was minding their business. And it's not every day I actually get to sit this far from the camera because usually I'm right up in the camera, almost right up in your face. So me doing an episode like this is quite the welcome for me in a way, trying to give me an insight on and new ideas for now. But there is a very good possibility I might squeeze in I might squeeze in a clip or two from Second Choice. Not much. I know, right? Supposed to be worse. They said coming up the next late week. Oh shit! Like Wednesday's supposed to be high, but 98. free one-way fare. We're not really. What the hell?
That's not. It is yesterday.
They should be doing it just about every day. It's not like this. Shit.
Hot.
I know. That's one of the. That's one of the. That's, that's kind of a little bit of the fun I have when I shoot. Wait. I take that back. I take that back. I did shoot the very first. I did shoot season two's episode one at Logan's Row House in Trustor, so I apologize for that. It's been that long. But I hope to. More than likely, I will be recording a few record a few minutes video clips from Second and Charge during their free RPG day, which which they've got going on at Second and Charge. Of course, I might be a little bit late getting there, and might have to leave a little bit early due to the fact that I personally will have to get back to the gallery in time to catch the 31 bus back here, or back to Central Station at least, which is fine by me. It's gonna suck, but hey, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to getting home or back to the office anyway. But absolutely love the echo that this audio provides. It's freaking awesome! But there is one other spot in Birmingham. It's closer to Division. It's in between Division, Morse, and First Avenue North and South, respectively. And you can start seeing it from 20th Street. Now I think from let's see, 20th, 19th, 18th, and quite possibly 17th. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. And it's best to actually see these at night. So, but at night, if you was to go under the bridge on 20th Street, 19th Street, 18th Street, and possibly 17th Street, you will be in bright light show. I'm not sure whose idea it was to outfit the bridge with reflecting rainbow lights. Now, whether they did this to support the LBGT movement, or however they pronounce that, whether they did that to support their cause, I don't know. And quite frankly, if in a way it does, more power to it. I also think it's freaking cool. But oh, I think good friend of mine and fellow GM Jeremy Saunders basically posted a link on well, posted a link in the Birmingham area Pathfinders group on Facebook mentioning about a new vigilante class coming out, which the playtest window starts today, and I think it runs to August 20th. So that's basically a 2 month window. Of course, yours truly is jumping up that bandwagon. I'm jumping on that bandwagon and will be creating, or is in the, or is in the business of creating a vigilante world. Now, much like the wizard, much like a wizard, the vigilante warlock, to my understanding, has to have starts play off with a spell, and he would have to prepare his spells ahead of time and must gain 8 hours of sleep in order to recharge his daily allotment slots for his daily allotment spells. And the vigilante warlock starts off with four zero level spells or cantrips and two first level spells. Now, depending on how high your depending on how high your intelligence score is, may determine whether you receive bonus spells or not. Well, for mine is at the freaking top. At the freaking pinnacle. So, so he'll basically gain two more bonus slots because of his high intelligence. And there's nothing that's not wizard, a vigilante war. Now, the standard vigilante has his own set of class skills. For the vigilante warlock, which is a vigilante specialization, two, at least three of the class skills that have been added alongside the original class skills of just a regular vigilante is knowledge arcana and spellcraft, which since he's going to be a spellcaster, huh? It looks like someone is going to be leaving, and more than likely passing through this hall. Huh. Let's see. That was, I'm not sure if there's a actual. Oh, there we go. Here we go. That is that is the that is the absolute beauty that I love about my review. Regard if should I shoot it on location somewhere like I am right now? I mean, there's no telling who might appear on my show. Much like the gentleman that passed by not too long ago when the sun was beaming down, or the Yukon that just passed leaving the building. Now, it's just about time. But I think I'm gonna kill the video right here for now. And we can get ready for the Highway 31 bus to come by, so I can be at Second and Charles come time for the free RPG Day thing, which includes a lot of RPG games to begin with, including Pathfinder. Maybe I might be able to score some free stuff while I'm there. Who knows? The only way to know for sure is to go, play a few games of Pathfinder, play a good round of Pathfinder. Who knows? I might even be able to play my new Vigilante Warlock, which I have yet to finish. I'll finish it when I get there, or at least I can finish it on the way. But that's it for right now. I will see you all at Second and Charles. I'm TJ, signing off for the time being. Deuces. Well, of course, you can see I'm back in the office. I didn't get much of any filming or recording done while I was at Second and Charles, which in a way is a bummer. But then on the other side of the spectrum, it's not because of the simple fact I was too busy having fun. Though I did, though I was unable to get in a game of the Pathfinder card game for before I had to go back. I did, however, take part in a dungeon crawl RPG like game, which is very similar to Pathfinder and D&D. Of course, the party that I had didn't have a thief, and for a second I thought they were saying Peef. I was like, no, that's that's not going to be his name. No, screw that. But he was like, no, no, we're talking about the character. He's a thief. I was like, oh, okay. So I got to so I got the thief's character sheet and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at his abilities and whatnot. I'm thinking, hey, this makes me feel right at home now. It's like this is their version of a Pathfinder rogue. We'll take this, considering the fact that mo I think of half of my characters are rogues. I mean, of course they had their they were worded differently, but they still meant the same thing. One we I think we were part of two encounters that I know of that really stand out to me was of course I think I was using my navy I think I was using my sky blue dice, or at least the D20 anyway. I ended up rolling in at 20. You're like, huzzah, huzzah! I also, under normal conditions, I think with both D&D and Pathfinder, anytime you roll a net 20 or anything in a weapon's crit range, you have to roll again to confirm. So, to be fair, I kind of asked the DM since it was kind of a new game. He was like, "Do I need to roll again to confirm?" He's like, "Nope, just roll damage." I was like, "Sweet." And I think the first three, no, the first three rolls that I made with my damage die, which was a D4, was all ghetto crits. I think the last one was a two or three. So, needless to say, the two enemies I struck can no longer exist. I think there was a gentleman that was playing the wizard who was sitting right next to me. I guess he kind of used the ability similar to mage armor, which raises my overall AC by 4. I think he was like, since I was hitting the hardest, they would he would put his mage armor like ability on me to keep me safe. I was like, well, thanks, I appreciate that. all in all, it was a real good game. I'm not sure if I'll be able to go back up to Second and Charles and play it again. Go through an actual campaign or whatnot. I don't know. My means of transportation are severely limited at this point. But I will try my best to make it back up to Second and Charles at least to play that game, play that dungeon crawl game because it was pretty interesting. It was pretty fun. I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now, and it shouldn't be no surprise to anyone because just about everyone is talking about it. And for those of you who don't know, I'm referring to the landmark and historic victory made by the U.S. Supreme Court. I think it was made. I think it was made Friday officially. But basically, what the decision that was made was to give equal rights to lesbians, gays, and transgender couples the right to get married in all 50 states. This includes Hawaii, which is out there in the middle of the Pacific, and Alaska, which is way up there, I think past the Canadian Rockies. Now, when the U.S. Supreme Court made this decision, a good friend of mine was wondering about where do the trans transgender people fall, as far as their as far as their sex. I'm like, well, I would assume that they would fall under the transgender category. I don't know. I mean, as long as transgender people get to marry whoever they want, whether it be lesbian, gay, or another transgender person, that's all that should matter. I mean, that's my take on it anyway. But at any rate, in the in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court's decision, of course, a lot of big time, heavy duty Christians basically piped up and said that the the decision that the U.S. Supreme Court made was wrong, and that it's taking away the moral values of America. Newsflash: just about everything we do takes away the morals of America. So you can stop with that bullshit. So, so in support of those who are on the LGBT side of the spectrum, their their supporters, including myself, basically changed our profile pictures to make it look like there was a rainbow hovering over our Facebook pictures. Me personally, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's kick ass. Now, I knew personally that not everyone would be for equal rights for gays, lesbians, and transgender people. The one thing that those people are forgetting is that at the end of the day, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender people are still human. They still bleed red. They eat, shit, and sleep
just like the rest of us. And you're not in a position to judge anyone. I mean, the only person who actually has the divine authority to judge anyone is God. Now, I'm not really caught up on my biblical sense in reference to what the big time heavy duty Christians are trying to push off on everybody. But I do know at some point, somewhere in the Bible, God did say, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And since you big time heavy duty Christians are hating on lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender people so much, you must be inevitably hating on yourself because, let's face it, you're trying to push what you believe onto them when they've done nothing to you. Of course, after I saw a couple of friends of mine change their profile pics to them having the rainbow effect over it, I'm like, you know what? Why not? Why the hell not? I'm up for equal rights for these guys. Why not? Hell, I have at least 1 to 2, if not more, transgender people on my friends list, and I do not regret putting them on my friends list. So I did. I was like, how'd you do this? And so they showed me the link. And I was like, is this it? Sweet. So I changed my profile pic to, show my support. And I'd say within a good 5, 10, I'd say by the end of the day, I got a pretty good amount of likes for this pic. Before, well, at least for the change in profile pic. So, of course, I knew myself that I'd meet some kind of resistance on my end. Not that I really gave a shit. So, there was a former schoolmate, Lindsay Martin by name, who sent me a PM asking, unless if I came out the closet, asking me as to why I have a rainbow pic over my profile pic. And I told him, to show my support for the U.S. Supreme Court's decision. His next response was, that's a good way for me. That's a good way for me to unfriend you, homie. He then went on to say, it's a sin against the Almighty, and I will eliminate those who support and stand behind it. Okay. First thing, number one, who are you to say that it's a sin? And who are you to judge? But then again, you can't really answer that question, can you, Lindsay? And the fact that you said it's a sin against the Almighty is almost a challenge to me within itself. So basically, what Lindsay did, or what Lindsay was trying to do, is tell me that, for one, I was wrong for having a rainbow pic over my profile pic, and the fact that I'm in the wrong for supporting equal rights for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender people. So I gave him a hand. I unfriended him myself. I sat here for a few minutes and I'm thinking, wait. He sat there and told me he was going to unfriend me. Basically, if I didn't change my profile picture back to where it was. I don't like people telling me to change my profile picture just because they don't like it. So I went and blocked him. I don't change for no one. I don't change for anyone on earth. Of course, I went back on Facebook and said, I warned you. I warned you. If y'all don't like what I wrote, if y'all don't like what I post, if y'all don't like any of the pictures that I post, you know what to do. But if I do it, I'm going to unfriend you and block you. So, Lindsay Martin will no longer be appearing on my friends list. Ever. Now, let's say that I was. No, wait. I done lost my train of thought here. Hell. Well, in a sense, let me get up and let me get some tea started. I'll be right back. So that's the end of that. Now, of course, today officially is a crossover between the 27th and 28th. Although it's officially the 28th. No, most people still consider it to be Saturday night, the 27th. Well, at least for the ones that are out and about anyway. Which means that we are only, a little over 2 weeks away from PlayOnCon. Of course, PlayOnCon is July the 9th through the 12th at the Alabama 4-H Center, with the Overflow Hotel being the Hampton in Calera. Now, this is the third consecutive year that PlayOnCon has been at the Alabama 4-H Center, which tells me that the park directors have been listening to its parksters when it comes to tips of making PlayOnCon better. One of the special guests that is making his return to PlayOnCon is Voltaire. And I haven't seen Voltaire since Park 3 or 4. I'm not I think it was Park 4. Because because I took my second fiance with me to this park. It was this same park that Voltaire got me addicted to drinking the Kraken, which is black spiced rum. And if you don't like spiced rum in particular, then you won't like the Kraken. It's in it's in the league, it's in the class with Captain Morgan and other spiced rums and whatnot. Of course, if I even drink spiced rum, it's either Captain Morgan or the Kraken. It's one of the two. Now, of course, another special guest that I like to chill and hang out with. Professor Shy Guy is going to be there, along with yours truly. Now, when I started doing promos for PlayOnCon, I made it known that I was running for president. I was running for president of POC. Unfortunately, and I I don't really consider this a loss to me because I knew at some point that if I didn't have everything I needed, I was going to end up backtracking at some point. So it's with deepest regards that I'm going to have to back out of the presidential race for PlayOnCon this year. However, I will be putting my support behind one of the presidential candidates. Who am I putting my support behind? Well, it just so happened I made a costume out of the specific material last year, and even one of the people in the costume contest that I was in last year basically told me I stepped up my game, which in turn made me happy because I feel after all the work I did to make this costume, he was like, you really stepped up your game. I like this, and of course I said thanks. And I couldn't have really done it without, you know, using these. And in case you've been living under a rock, I went and cosplayed as Super Mega Force Red or Gokai Red, depending which one tickles your fancy. But how did I pull off cosplaying Super Mega Force and or Gokai Red last year? Simple. I used this. I used a shitload of cardboard. Despite the opposition I had going into PACA last year, I made the Super Mega Force Red cardboard cosplay, and it was a hell of a lot of fun doing it too. My biggest concern with the cosplay last year was it raining and the paint washing off the cardboard. That was my only biggest fear. But it didn't rain during last year's POC, and if it did, I was inside long enough for the rain to dissipate and go away, long enough for transport, which was a plus. Now, will I be cosplaying other Rangers slash Super Sentai in the future? You damn skippy I am. Why would I not? Now, there is one there is one morph, actually there are two morphers that I want. One is that belonging to the Tokime Sentai Go Busters. The other one is that of the Resha Sentai Tokuger. I would get one for the Korugers, but I just so happened to pick one. I just so happened to pick one up from Dino for Power Rangers Dino Charge. Come to think of it, might get one for the Korugers anyway, just because. I mean, I am a Power Ranger Super Sentai fan, and unfortunately, I'm not going to find any Super Sentai stuff at Walmart. So I'm going to have to either go to Toys R Us or I'm going to have to go online. Speaking of collecting things, I'm going to have to, I have to start my cosplay collection all over again. You know, I had a Organization 13 overcoat that I bought online. It was my very first online purchase too. You know, I took real good care of it. Alas, I don't have it no more. I mean, the only way I still have it is in the pictures I took with it on my timeline. But that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions about anything I say on the show, you know, email me at windchaserproductions@gmail.com with my reviews in the subject line. You can like Windchaser Productions on Facebook. You can also follow Windchaser Productions on Twitter. Also, you can subscribe to Windchaser Productions on YouTube. That's right. Windchaser Productions has its own channel on YouTube where you will see other episodes of my reviews, even the very first episode of this second season. Until next time, I am CJW.